Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and this time around it's Rambo, brought to us by Packing Games and Acclaim. Now Packing Games also did Predator, Knight Rider, and Friday the 13th. Now this game of course is based off the second Rambo movie, Rambo First Blood Part 2. Yeah, the name confusing thing I'm not even going to get into. And it's considered by many, of course, to be another one of those very, very bad licensed video games. And I'm going to say this right off the bat, there are worse games than this. For example, Back to the Future Part 2 and 3, that is torture. That is that is 7 times worse than this game. Mainly because Back to the Future Part 2 takes so darn long to complete that this game is actually overall better. Now, we're going to start off, we see the opening cutscene here, where pretty much Rambo's in jail, he's going to visit it, said pretty much you can do this mission, or stay in jail. You actually get the choice to pick one or the other, stay in jail, or do the mission. And what's funny is, unfortunately though, no matter how many times you say I want to stay in jail, the game won't continue until you actually say yes. Right off the bat, what you're going to notice in the game itself is that it plays very much like Zelda 2. To the point that you actually, you have a knife, which pretty much acts like the short sword. You also level up your weapon, and you get experience for killing each enemy that you kill. You actually get a certain amount of experience based on the enemy. Sometimes that gets a little weird, because sometimes I'll kill one enemy, he'll give me 200, I'll kill that exact same enemy, and somehow he'll give me 2. Now, this opening part is pretty much you have to get your mission, you have to get your equipment. So you talk to a couple people, and now I gotta work my way to the hangar where I can get my equipment before heading off into the jungle to pretty much run rabid through the jungle. I gotta run it, you know. The game is really confusing because you have to know where all these north and south direction things are to get through the forest. It's very similar to Friday the 13th by going up and down when you're getting stuck in the forest. You'll end up looping for hours if you don't know how to get through it. And I had to look everywhere to try to find something. There was one guide that was written back in '95 on Game FAQs. I'm amazed that there hasn't been any more guides written about this game. As a kid, I didn't get very far at all. You're gonna see I actually got as far enough as when you get put in prison, and the your girlfriend or whatever, the main heroine of the movie, the main heroine has to come and save Rambo, get him out of prison or whatever. I got to that point as a kid, and I could never get any farther than that. But because now through the wonderful world of internet, I know how to beat the game, and you're gonna see that I actually did pretty well at this game. Mainly probably because, like I said, it has a lot to do with Zelda 2, and if you played that enough, you can get pretty good at this game. Unfortunately, there's some really bad hit detection issues in the game. At the top screen, you can see my life, which I have a full life of 100, as well as an experience meter, and right there you can see I killed that snake and then that butterfly bug thing, and I got a couple experience points. When you see a weapon icon instead of experience, that means I just gained a certain number of that weapon. You have throwing knives, arrows, a machine gun, and grenades. Throughout the game, though, I've always found the knife is the absolute best way to go. Most projectiles that some of the harder enemies are going to shoot at you, you can either duck or jump over, and the knife ends up killing almost all the enemies in a single hit. Now, if you're looking for an exact walkthrough, just follow my exact steps throughout this game, going the different directions at all. Right now, I'm heading to first I gotta meet up with the informant, or the girl, the heroine, and then from there we're gonna go get a boat and head off to the second part. It basically works in, there's like multiple chapters pretty much that you're going throughout the game. You have to accomplish different goals. I'm gonna pass that south thing, kill that tiger, which gave me arrows as you just saw, and kill some snakes and all like that. Like I said, I'm gonna say right now, I'm not a huge Rambo fan by any means. I like Sylvester Stallone movies, I love Demolition Man, and I'm a huge Rocky person, much more so than a Rambo person. Good for him, though, that he's making a new Rambo movie, which is the whole reason, of course, why I'm doing this video. I just met up with the girl, which I actually find funny. I'm gonna say this, what do you think about me? Where she says, what? You look good. Like Hampus, and then you just continue on. Just being that Sly Stallone being that sly, with that comment sliding in there, I find actually quite funny. Now she ends up following me, but she doesn't appear, so don't worry about her exactly following you. just work your way through the pass to get back. I hit south there, and now I'm going to be working my way over. But like I was saying, I'm not a huge Rambo fan person. I've seen the movies at least once a piece, but it's been years since I've seen them, so I really don't know the exact plots in anymore. So bear with me in terms of not knowing exactly how the plot of the movie goes. But from what I've been told, this game actually does follow the movie plot pretty well, and I remember parts of it. I don't really remember all of it. But okay, we got the boat. You can walk over and have this cutscene, and you end up getting this pendant, one of the items in the game. I don't really know if the pendant what it does. It flashes, so I know it does something, but I'm never really quite sure what exactly it does. It could be like a slightly more defense from certain enemies, but I really can't tell because when you get hit, it seems like it does the same amount of damage no matter what. Head from the right, you're going to go south. And now we're going to work our way through the swamp area, which exactly reminds me of Zelda 2. Like I said, most of this game does remind me of Zelda 2. So, that's why it's absolutely not that bad, in my opinion, because I like Zelda 2. A lot of people don't, but I do. So, I don't find this game nearly as horrible as some of the other licensed games. But then again, this is coming from the person that's played some of the worst games in NES history, as well as I've sat through and I actually really like Friday the 13th, the game, even though it's considered absolutely one of the worst games ever. But anyway, working my way, trying now to... The whole purpose of going on right now is to get to the POW camp to take pictures of the prisoners, or the camp, and then leave. That's all you're supposed to do. But, of course, I'm Rambo, so I'm going to go in, I'm going to bust that POW out, and, of course, all hell's going to break loose because of that. As I kill random flamingo giant pelican type birds that I don't know why they're so deadly, but they want to kill Rambo. There's some weird, questionable enemies throughout the game that I don't necessarily remember from the film. But, oh well, let's just kind of move on and forget about it. Now, I know there's some actual the game's map is actually pretty big for what it is, but I'm going to be taking the exact path to get through the game the best way I know how, which is just work my way till eventually where I fight, I'm trying to save the POW, get to the helicopter, get arrested, Co saves me, and then we work and get the helicopter, get out, then we have to go save the prisoner again, and then that's the end of the game. I think I just generally summarized my entire length of how I work through this game. Now you say I'm going to go ahead by myself, which of course now means we are actually in the camp of the enemy, and these kung fu kicking enemies are some of the worst enemies in the game. If you can get a high advantage point to hit them, take it. If you're below them, try to step away, back away until they're on an even playing field, and then go after them. If you can draw them to kick, and then, back away as they're kicking so that after they land on their feet again, then move in and hit them, it's almost impossible to meet them head to head and actually be able to deliver a killing blow to them, I found out throughout this game. Now, like I said, trying to follow my path is gonna, me describing every little bit of it as I go through. Right now, like I said, I'm heading to try to get to the prisoner war. Watch out for these giant club guys. They're pretty easy to kill overall, just a single hit from the knife. But, they do a ton of damage if they hit you, so be careful of that. Jumping over bullets is always fun. But then again, it's Rambo. If anyone could jump over bullets, I think it would be Rambo. There's a blue tiger that we gotta deal with now, who accidentally hit me. Okay, well it leaves, so I'm just gonna say forget about it. I'm not gonna chase that tiger. But like I said, you can see exactly why this game looks exactly like Zelda 2. I mean, almost to the T. I mean, the bubbles rising from the swamp, certain areas, it's just like everything. I mean, I don't know if this game, I'm not sure exactly on the release dates in comparison to one another, or if any ideas were shared. Now, Packing Video, as far as I know, is a Japanese company, I think. Or at least the Rambo games have always come out in Japan, including, I think, an MSX game that only came out in Japan, that wasn't even released in America, which I find funny. Any American license that comes out only in Japan, I always find interesting, such as A Week of Garfield, which was, is an American comic that was only released in Japan, that game. Okay, here's the POW. Please rescue me. Alright, now